we're going to do is similar to what we've been doing in the beginning of all my Zoom workouts. We're going to do that for around a full hour. Might go over a little bit. If you have to pop out, feel free. There's just two things I want to talk about before we get started. One is this is supposed to be somewhat self-diagnostic. So it's supposed to be something where you understand your body as you go, and you either recognize that it hurts, whatever you're doing, and then you back off, or that maybe you're not sure what the heck your body is doing, which is more justification for doing things like we're doing today. So if you're doing something and you're totally lost, consider that a good thing in a way, because you can maybe learn about yourself as you go. But when it comes to pain, there's a specific type of pain that I don't want you to push through. If you have a closing angle joint pain, you do not want to keep pushing into that pain. So I'll give you an example. If you look at how the joints move in your neck, when you move your head to the side, there's an open angle and a closing angle. So this side is the closing angle. If this pinches as you go to the right or left in this case, don't push harder. Don't make it hurt more. If you feel a progressive pinch where the tissue is opening, it probably won't be a pinch. You'll feel tension. It's kind of normal. Obviously, don't make it worse either, but that's less of a concern. The only concern I have is as you go through this, if you feel actual pinchiness, and I use that word very specifically because you know what a pinch feels like, back off a little bit. Don't push into the pinch. That's something where you would go see a physical therapist or someone that specializes in basically what they would call aberrant joint function, things where the joints are not working properly for whatever reason. I can't tell you. That's why you go to a physical therapist. Anyway, that's number one. If you have pain that's specifically pinch pain, don't do it. Number two is I really want you to understand the concept of irradiation, which basically means if you are trying to, let's say, squeeze your bicep and you want to get the most out of the bicep, you're better off tensing your whole body to make your bicep fire. So when we do stuff for your hips, your goal is going to be to irradiate or create body tension. And so I might tell you to make fists. I might tell you to engage more of your body as you go. If you've ever lifted something heavy, and I use this with a lot of my clients, you don't go up like if your friend was under a car and you had to get them off, you would not be like, hey, I'll get you out from under the car, bro. Like you would be like, yo, I'm going to get you off. You know, you would be tense, right? Like you'd be ready for it. And so in order to maximize the amount of tension you create in your tissue, you might have to actually engage more of your body. You'll see me as I do this, I'm going to be shaking and making noises because I'm trying really hard. So this is actually why it speaks to me. I like bodybuilding and I like, like pumping up my muscles and stuff because I'm a bro. So this is like the same type of thing, but it's a little bit more therapeutic, if you will. So that is the two things I want you to focus on is if it's pinchy, back off. And number two is if we're doing something and you're like, wow, I don't feel anything, maybe it's going to require you to engage more of your body to get a sensation out of your tissue. And that's what we're going after. So without further ado, because I'm already sweating and I didn't even do anything yet, we're going to get started. Again, if you have questions, pop it in the chat. We're going to start standing. We're going to go through, I'm going to start using terminology that's going to be consistent. So if you come to this every week and you like this, you're going to start to understand what I'm talking about, but I'll break it down, even though the acronyms and all that stuff, you might not really want to pay attention to, but just get a general sense of what we're talking about. We're going to start standing. We're going to do a hip controlled articular rotation, which means we're going to take our hips through their full range of motion in a very slow and controlled way. If you have questions while you're doing this, pop it into chat and I'll do my best. So let's get started. You can stand, and I recommend actually using something like a chair or your friend to balance out. So if you don't have that, I'm sorry, you can do this also kneeling, but I can just assume that all of you have something in your house that you can grab onto. So we're going to spend a little bit more time doing what are called axial rotations, but I'll explain that when we get there. What I want you to do first is take a big deep breath in through your nose. I notice my head's cut off, it's fine. Take a big deep breath through your nose. When you exhale, imagine that you're exhaling and pushing air into your lower abdomen, like you're creating a foundation here. And that's important because, again, your core, we're trying to create body tension. So imagine that you're kind of pressing down and creating some sense of tension in your abs. So if you need to, you can also make a fist with your other arm, or you can balance out. But what I want you to do is just pay attention to your hip here. So if you feel like you're not able to move your hip very well, there's probably a reason that we can talk about after the class. So for now, just try to follow my lead. So first, big deep breath in, exhale, air down. And I want you to lift your knee straight up in the air until you can't anymore. So imagine that you hit a wall because you literally can't flex your knee. At the same time, you're going to hit an imaginary object going in towards your midline. Now, notice if you watch me very carefully, my body's not moving in any direction. I'm not twisting my hip. My knee is just simply going up and in as hard as I can. This position should be tense. You should feel your body working. Your hip should be working. You might even feel the tissue on the inside of your leg working. Hold that and squeeze. Own this position. You're not going to move your knee, but you are going to swing your foot up towards your midline, nice and slow, high as you can, and hold. This is external rotation of your hip. So you might feel your inner thigh a little bit. You also might feel your glute. Hold that position. Nice and slow. If you need to balance, I recommend grabbing something. Slowly bring your leg out to the side, high as you can, as far as you can without twisting your hips, moving your spine, or bending your other knee. So hold it. From there, you're still bringing that foot toward the ceiling. We're going to swing our foot back and forth. These are the rotations I was talking about. So from here, you're going to try to bring your foot nice and slowly behind you, and then bring it back slowly the other way. I'm going to show you from the side really quickly, hopefully without falling over. You're here. Notice how my hip doesn't move. Very little. So my pelvis is not rocking. If you're doing that, try to lock it in place and don't move nearly as far. So we're just going side to side 3 times, nice and slow. Internal rotation, you should feel this fire up. External rotation, maybe feel your glute or inner thigh. Back and forth, nice and slow. Trying to tense your body. Again, you're not moving anything else. You're trying not to let your knee drop. Side to side. Keep going, do 1 more each. Nice and slow, keeping you all honest right now. Hello, Roni. Ronnie, probably. Sorry, I don't know why. I thought it was Roni. Might be Roni. Good. In this position, you're going to stay here. And I want you to imagine you're going to hurdle behind you like you're trying to get over something. Now, my knee is not dropping down. It's high, so you should feel your glute here tensing up as you come around and down. Now, if you did that the whole way through, you went up this way, and around, you just worked the entirety of your hip from the inside out. Now we're going to go backward. So we're going to try that same thing, but we're going to reverse it. Again, if you feel pinchiness, just don't go as hard or as high, but try to follow along with me. You're going to pick your knee up, stack them, and make sure you're not leaning back or doing a Daffy Duck butt. So make sure your hips are stacked in line with your rib cage. You're going to kick back, which this is extension of your hip. You should feel your glute, but notice it's not very far. I don't know if you ever watch people on Instagram do their glute kickbacks. That's not what we're doing. Kick back, feel your glute. You're going to turn your foot. Don't spin. Turn your foot towards your midline and try to hurdle back out until you're that position that you were just in doing those rotations in. Okay, so you're back out to the side. You're going to bring your foot in front of you, swing it around, and bring it back down. Good. That's an articulation of your whole hip joint, going from the back side to the front side. And why this is important is it shouldn't be that hard to move your hip, but it is for all of us. And the problem is that we're so used to using everything in like a systematic way instead of in isolation. And so we just compensate and we let our body do whatever it wants. Whereas in this case, you want to be able to use your hip whenever you need to, you don't want it to need to be used and then it can't be used, if that makes sense. So in the case of like an injury, let's say you needed to do something with your hip and all of a sudden you couldn't, and then you strained it. Well, we're trying to avoid that situation altogether by getting you to access the entirety of your hip in whatever way you can. Structurally, you might be a little bit different than me or Logan or George, and that's fine. So there's still going to be limitations in how you use your hip because everyone is different. Okay, other side, I'm going to stop talking. So try to follow along as best as you can. Imagine that the air is heavy and you're fighting gravity. So I want you to try to create tension in your body. Abs, big deep breath in. Exhale, push air into your lower abdominal cavity. Bring that knee straight up and in towards your midline. You might notice it feels different already than the other side. You're going to try to swing that foot up, but don't move the knee. Imagine it can't move at all. High as you can, fighting for more. Slowly bring the foot and knee out to the side, but you're not twisting your hip. So notice this hip didn't move. Knee is still in the same spot and foot is still trying to go up. We're going to do those rotations. Go slow. Far back as you can. Other way. We're going to do that 3 times. Go as slow as you can. 2. And 3. Good. Go back to internal rotation as far as you can go. Try to hurdle nice and slow. You should feel your glute as you come back and down and backwards we go. So we're here. You should feel your glute on this side as you kick. Abs are still engaged. You might feel your hamstring fire up because you're extending. From there, you're going to turn your foot in nice and slow. Hurdle to the front. Bring that foot in front of you. And then you'd swing it in front of you, to the front side of your body, and down. And that is a hip car. Now, if you want to make that harder, you can spend more time where it feels like it's difficult, or you can just create more tension. Sometimes it's easier to have someone like me in there to press on you and move you around or to block. So for instance, if you feel like you keep moving, you'll find that this happens a lot. If I do this with you in person, chances are as you're doing this movement, it's going to look a lot different because you're going to want to move your spine, but we can put blocks in place and I can physically block you off so that you cannot move your spine and lock it into your hip. But just kind of pay attention to how that felt. This one's going to be weird for a lot of you, but we're going to sit down and you're going to face the camera, and this is going to be a knee car. So this is a knee rotation. All right. All right, here we go. First, you're going to put your foot in front of you and hold on to your kneecap. And what I want you to do is see if you can twist your shin all the way out. So grab your right leg, put it in front. See if you can rotate your shin to the right side. This is your tibia turning. It's tibial rotation. It's turning over and out. Your foot will go with it. So if you watch, your foot's obviously going to turn. But you should feel the muscles in your actual shin working. So what I want you to do is go from the right side and try to swing as far as you can to the left, back and forth, nice and slow. If this hurts, sorry, don't go as far. And again, if you feel pain as you try to go this way and you feel it on this side, that means don't go as hard because there's a closing angle pinch. If you feel tension on this side, that's okay. And again, pinchiness is what we're looking for, side to side. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have you start with a bent knee. You can support your leg if you want. They do this in jiu-jitsu. It's like a triangle choke, I believe. And what this will do is if you put your right arm under your right side, lock it into your elbow, and put this over the top, it's basically immobilizing your femur. And the reason why that's important is because if you do what we're about to do, you're just going to use your whole leg. So we're trying to lock your femur in place. You can also do this laying down if you'd prefer. It might be easier. In fact, I'm going to do that to show you. So I'll lock myself in place. But first things first, you're going to bring your ankle towards your hamstring like this. You're going to rotate it out to the right so that's where you should feel, it's where you get the most range of motion. So turn it out to the right. You're going to extend the knee while you keep it kicked out to the right all the way. You might find that this is hard to do and your femur wants to move, it wants to twist, because mine sure as heck does. As far as you can. At the top, when you can't flex anymore, you're going to try and twist the other way, turning the tibia in the other direction, and then you're going to slowly curl it down towards the back of your leg. So it looks like this from the front. You're here, out, extend the knee as your tibial rotated, turn it, swing it down. Yes, this is strange. Some of you are probably like, what are we doing? We're actually working internally in the knee. There's a lot of structure inside the knee that helps you turn your tibia. You're just not used to isolating the tissue here. You're used to using your whole leg. So this is really hitting those intrinsic muscles inside your knee. Nice and slow again, one more time. You're gonna rotate the foot out, flex the knee while it's rotated, rotate the tibia as far in as you can. This part's hard. And keep it rotated in as you curl down. Good. And we're just gonna switch sides. So normally we'd go both directions, but I'm gonna, for time's sake, just have you go to the other side. See if it feels different from right to left. Pull the heel towards your glute. Flex and rotate the shin out as far to the left as you can if you're on your left side. Kick the knee up. Rotate in. Your foot's going to rotate too. It's totally fine. Keep it tension in as you curl down. Rotate out the other way. Same thing. Keeping tension as you rotate and flex the knee. Foot goes in. Curl down. And relax. So just trying to put the knee through its full range of motion with, internal and external tibial rotation going on, which you'd be surprised how much you need that when you're moving. If that hurt, definitely let me know. Technically, we should go both directions, but I want to keep moving, and I'm going to probably drag this on if I keep trying to explain. So from here, we're going to flow through a bunch of stuff. If anything feels off, I gotta find my sheet actually. Where did I put it? It's gone. How did I lose it? Oh, there it is. Okay. The flow is actually like 40 exercises long, which I couldn't fit on my monitor because I can't see it. So I had to write it all down. So what I'm gonna have you do is meet me in a 90-90 position, which a lot of you know what that is. Some of you are like, what's a 90-90 position? So I'm going to explain it really quickly. You're going to start on the left side by having your foot and shin and your femur at a 90-degree angle. And then this back leg is going to also be at a 90-degree angle. And so if you were to imagine a line going through your front foot, it should hit your knee and your back foot roughly. This position is actually really difficult to get into. So if you find yourself just sitting here and you're like, wow, this feels really hard already, don't worry, there's going to be modifications as you go. But I just want to make sure that you can at the very least sit here. And if you need to kick over just sitting here like this, that's totally fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to train the rotators of the hip. And so philosophically, if we get more rotation capacity in our hips, we can open up our range of motion through most ranges of motion in our hip. In other words, if we have a really good ability to rotate our hips, there's probably a good chance that we can flex them and extend them and that sort of thing. So the better we can rotate them, the better we can move them in general, which is why we start here. And that's where we're gonna spend a lot of time today, is on how well we can move our hips in a rotational capacity. So if you look at that thing we did in the beginning when I was going like this, that is external, internal rotation. That's how your hip rotates. So 90-90 position, you have the left foot in front. We're gonna do what's called a KINSTRETCH, which is the name of the class. I know, super cool. Here we go. There's what I want you to do first is imagine that both legs are glued to the ground. This is important because they're not going to lift. If you can't touch them down, that's fine. If they're hanging, just try to press down. If it hurts already, you can also get your feet a little closer to you so you can reduce the angle and the amount of torque going in the knee. So you can do what's called a shin box if this feels better, but otherwise try to stay here if you can. And again, if you feel a bunch of tension, just let me know so we can adjust it for you. But for now, imagine your feet, knees are glued down, feet are glued down. This is important because we're going to do what's called a progressive and regressive tissue training. So what I'm going to have you do first is face your front left knee. So we're going to press this knee down, create some tension through this front knee and this front foot, back knee, back foot. Now you feel like you're grounded to the floor, right? So first thing is face the front knee and see if you can create tension going in the opposite direction with this front knee without lifting it, which sounds very strange, but try to imagine that it's glued down and this front side tissue in your leg is actually pulling up. So almost like you're trying to bring your knee to your chest, but not moving it. So it's an isometric. I know that sounds strange. You might not be able to feel that, but just try your best. So when we do this first thing, I'm going to have you try to pull yourself down towards your knee and try to pull the tissue in your hip towards your chest at the same time, but you're not actually leaving the floor. I'm going to show you what that looks like. My chest is going down and my foot is going, my knee and foot are going up. So here I'm trying to pull far as I can, and then just come out. Try that once on your own. Trying to imagine, again, this is glued to the floor, but you're pulling that front side tissue up. And this is, you should not feel pinchiness here. If you do, don't go as far. So leaning over that front knee, you're going to drop yourself down, but pull that knee up. You should feel the front side of your hip working. Good. That's a regressive stretch. You're trying to stretch the backside tissue by pulling the front side tissue up. Again, if you're like confused, don't worry about it. For now, we're just going to do that. That's going to be called a regressive pull, and then we're going to do a progressive push. So the next step in that process is you're going to still keep that foot glued down, still keep that front knee down. You're going to push down, and you're going to actually push yourself back up to a standing position. So I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to go pull yourself down and pull your knee up, and then reverse, push down, pull yourself back up. And we're going to do that 3 times through. This is called a 90-90 kin stretch. Ready? Do the best you can. You're going to face your front foot. Hands can be out to the sides if you want. Create some body tension. Take a big deep breath in. Push that air down in your belly and go down nice and slow, pulling that knee towards your chest as you go. 3, 2, 1. Now push into the ground with your knee and foot. Bring yourself back up nice and slow. And again, same thing. Down nice and slow, pulling that knee up. 2, 3. Pause and push that knee down up as your chest comes back up. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Down, pulling that knee toward the chest and pushing it in the other direction. Good. 90-90 kin stretch. Here we go. We're going to do that on the back leg. Now, you might be thinking, how the heck are we going to do that? It's a great question. I can barely do it. I wish I could, but I'm going to show you what it's supposed to look like. So I have trouble picking this foot up as it is, because in this position, it's very difficult for me to internally rotate. But that is what we're going to do when we close the angle. So what I'm going to have you do is you're going to face towards your back knee. If you can't go any further than like your chest, you can't twist all the way back this way, it's totally fine. You just want to be as far as you can without feeling like everything is bunching up right here. If it is, I want you to lean over to the side so that you don't feel your lower back. I don't want your lower back and everything in your oblique to be crunched up so you can kick over. All right, so from here, you're going to imagine that your knee is still down on the floor. You're going to try to pick the foot up, but not actually do it. And you're going to lean into it as you're trying to imaginarily pick this foot up off the ground with your actual muscle. And then when you go back the other direction, you're gonna push down and bring yourself back up. So again, it's almost as if you're picking up the foot, but it's not. You're just trying to create that sensation like you are as you lean. And then as you come back in a way, you're pushing away from the ground. You're pushing into the ground. So here we go. We're gonna try that 3 times through on this side. And we're gonna keep moving. Ready, set, go. So this foot's trying to come up as you reach towards that back foot. And then you're gonna push down and bring yourself back up nice and slow. And again, same thing. Reach, 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 pulling that foot up, up, up as high as you can. And back the other way, you're pushing down into the floor as you come up. One more time. Foot is trying to come up. Imagine it coming off the ground as you reach. And push, push, push as you sit back up tall. So technically you can go from here to here, and you can kind of mobilize as you do this. The explanation is necessary though, because a lot of what you do moving forward requires you to actually create opposing tension on and off. And that's what this class is based off of, is you're able to not only generate force down, but also up whenever I need you to, because that is the goal of expanding the range of motion in your hips. And that's what we're trying to do today. So we're gonna keep moving. The next thing is gonna be a passive range hold. So we're going to lift the front foot up, and you can use your actual hand here to lift it high. Your knee is gonna be down though. So you're lifting it up and holding it. And what I want you to do, by the way, it's still, you can see I'm rounded over like a cat. That is irrelevant. Your posture does not matter because we're not doing anything with your actual spine. So in this case, you can see I'm like hunched. It doesn't matter. The only problem I would have with it is if it hurts. So if you look like this, it's okay. You don't have to sit like a statue this whole time, just so you know. So for this one, this knee is down, you're pushing it down, you're lifting the foot up. We're gonna hold. So as high as you can without pain, the highest amount of tension you can create and get that foot off the ground. And what I want you to do is in 3 seconds, you're gonna slowly let go of it and try to hold it wherever it lands. So you wanna imagine you're parachuting it down and holding it. Don't just do that, okay? So I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1. You're gonna tense up your body, hold 3, 2, 1, and relax. Are you ready? I am like in a flop sweat, just so you know. Here we go. We're gonna lift this up high as you can get. 3, 2, 1, and hold, tense. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Again, same thing, nice and slow. Bring it back up, no pinchiness here. 3, 2, 1, drop slow, hold. 3, 2, 1, good. One more time. Lift that foot. Make sure that knee stays down on the front and the back. So you shouldn't be like this right now. Hold it up for ready. Bring that knee down, but bring that foot up. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Whew. Perfect. We're going to do that on the back foot. So I can tell you a lot of you are going to need to lean back on this like I am. This is going to be a tough one, but you should be able to lift this a little bit without it dropping straight down. If it drops, it's fine. Like mine's going to hit the floor probably. It's not about how far you get it. Some of you are doing amazing, I can see. Don't use me as like a metric. It's not about that at all. In fact, I need to do this just as much as all of you. And so we're all going to look different. Just do your best to fight to keep this foot up. So we're going to do that same thing. Passive range hold. You're going to pull this foot up passively, and that's what that means. So this is active, right? Lifting, trying my best. This passive. So we're in this position, holding it up. 3, 2, slowly let go, create tension. Try not to drop it. 3, 2, 1. Good. Same thing. Here we go. Again, up, ready, set, go. 3, 2, 1, down. Other side or the same side one more time. Ready, up, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. Now that's external rotation on the front, internal rotation on the back. And now what we're going to do is let me check my cheat sheet, a passive range lift off. So 2 options here. If you're very advanced and you're like, Brian, this is not that challenging for me, good, great. You're way above and beyond being healthy with your joints. So for this one, if you can, you're welcome to pick up your whole leg. So we're going to do a lift off, which means I'm going to go back here because I can't do it. You're going to try and lift the leg off the ground and hold it. If you can do that and you're upright like that, props, we're going to do that. If you can't and you're like, Brian, why would you even try to get me to do that? That's totally fine. You're going to drive this knee down and you're going to try to just lift this foot up on your own. So it's going to look more like this. Holding, and down. If that is easy, you can close the angle. So you can bring your chest towards your knee more. I'm going to show you how much I can lift my foot once I go towards my foot with my chest. Yeah, that's it. Did you see it? It didn't move because I can't move it. So if you're super advanced, you just close the angle off. That makes the range of motion a lot shorter, and you can try to lift that way. If you're like back here, I don't care. Good. Try to train that hip. Up, hold, down. Okay, so we're gonna do a 5-second hold. This front foot is just lifting off. If you can get the whole leg, great. If you can't get the whole leg, then this knee stays down. 5-second hold, trying to get this foot up. Ready? Big deep breath in. Start to create some body tension and try to lift that foot for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We're going to switch to this leg. Same exact thing. If you need to kick yourself over, feel free, but we're going to create body tension. Take a big deep breath in. Try to lift this foot off the ground for a 5 count. Ready, set, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If that was easy, just simply get closer to your foot with your body. Back to the front leg. Trying to lift this foot up. Ready, set, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down. Back foot. Ready, set, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down. And good. From there, we're going to go into the next thing. I'm going to take a quick breather so I can see if everyone is alive and go from there. I don't know if anyone even popped anything in the chat because I can't even see it. How is everybody feeling with the show of hands? Good, decent, good. Okay, cool. All right. So we're going to stay in that position if you're okay. If you need to like move around, feel free. And also that goes without saying, if you need to take a breather, like your hip is like screaming at you, that's totally fine. I'm not too concerned if you need to take a break. Feel free to grab water as well. So we're going to go in that same position, 90-90. We're going to go transfer into a bear sit. So very slowly, what I'm going to have you do is keep this foot anchored, keep this knee down, slowly try to rotate at that right hip as high as you can until you can't anymore and you hit an imaginary wall. And I want you to create some tension there and hold. Your hands can be down or they can be up. If you're here already, good. You're going to slowly carry this other knee with you until you have your legs out in front of you like that. And what I'm going to have you do is actually allow the knees to come down to the side and your feet can kind of be sprawled out as well. This is a bear sit. So what we're going to do is some some hinges from our right hip. So what I want you to do is, if you feel pinchiness already, you can back off. So if you're here and you're really close, feel free to go like this to open up. If that's too easy and you're already like, I can sit here all day, get closer. It's the same concept. If you close off the angle, it will be harder on your hips. So we're here. I'm gonna angle myself a little bit this way. So we're here. What you're gonna do with this right hip is you're going to bring it towards your midline as far as it will go without pinchiness. And then I want you to swing it back out as far as it will go to the other side without it pinching. And we're just gonna do that side to side. Again, I'll do it in front. So you're here in that bear sit, that knee is gonna hinge in and it's gonna hinge all the way out. And I want you to imagine, just do this slowly at your own pace, that the air is heavy and you're trying to push against heavy air, create tension for yourself. The better you are at controlling your joints, the more you can create sensations in your tissues. So if I hit here and I'm like squeezing, I don't need my hand. I can push into it pretty hard to the point where my hip is shaking. Same thing, other way, back, all the way out as far as you can go. And then come to neutral once you do around 3 reps, side to side. From there, we're gonna go to the left side. So you're gonna go left goes in, air is heavy, left goes out. Trying not to move the right hip at all as you do this. Right leg just stays stationary, side to side. If you're an expert, close the angle, bring your hands off the ground. This is a lot harder. Side to side. One more. All the way down. Very slowly, what we're gonna do is you're gonna bring both knees to your right side. Very slow, trying to drop them. Right knee first. Left knee comes along with it. And if you did this better than me, you'd be in a 90-90 position on the other side. And here we go, we're starting on the other side. Might feel different than what we just did. Try to keep up, because I'm gonna go a little bit faster now. We're gonna go through that KINSTRETCH. So you're pulling the knee up as you bring your chest down toward the floor, and then you're pushing the knee down as you come up. And now we're gonna combine them from front to back hip. So here we go. Glue yourself to the floor. Hands can be up if you want, or you can have them down. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do, challenge yourself. From there, you're going to drive your knee, or I'm sorry, pick up your knee towards your chest, driving down toward the ground. Keep going, keep going, keep going, far as you can. And once you're at the bottom, you're going to push your knee down towards the mat as you bring yourself back up. Back foot, you're going to lift up towards your body as you reach as far back as you can. It's okay if you can't actually get there. Reaching, reaching, and then push down as you bring yourself back up. Twisting towards that front knee. You're gonna pull that knee up, going as deep as you can. Pushing the knee down as you come back up. Twisting towards that back leg, nice and slow, as you're trying to get your foot up towards your chest. It's just the intent that you're trying to get. It's actually not going to move unless you're really mobile. And from there, you push back down as you go away from your hip. Back to the front knee, pulling the knee up towards the chest as you go down, nice and slow, far as you can. Still breathing and pushing, pushing, pushing back up until you're reaching again towards that back leg, trying to get the foot up. And slowly push down, bring yourself upright and relax. So that's one you have to play with a little bit. Again, it's really, you're not trying to get the foot to come off the ground. It's just the intent of it. Like you're doing this as you get closer to your foot, and then you're pushing it down as you try to push away from it. All right. From there, we got passive range holds on that front leg. You're gonna lift that foot up, hold it, get yourself ready, big deep breath in. Exhale, push that air down, and you're gonna let go in 3, 2, 1, and try to hold. 3, 2, 1, and good. If you're really good at this, you can do it without putting any hands down. You can hold it up high as you can. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. One more time. Ready, set, go. Foot goes up, hold, and slowly let go. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Back foot, same thing. I'm sweating. Here we go. I'm going to lean over on this one because I won't be able to do it otherwise. Foot goes up. Flex the foot if you want, or you can play with your foot position. It's up to you. Whatever feels more comfortable and feels like you can get more out of this. Sometimes it helps to, again, create tension, so it might help to actually get your foot engaged. So ready? We're going to let go in 3, 2, 1. Try to hold. 3, 2, 1, and down. Again, lift. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Hold. Best you can. 3, 2, 1, and down. Last one. Ready, set, go. 3, 2, 1, and good. Whew. We got passive range lift-offs on that front leg. Same thing as last time. Knee goes down, foot goes up. Control the angle as you need. If you can lift the whole leg, props to you. Feel free. If you're an expert, you can do that. I'm almost there, so I must be a pro. Here we go. We're gonna 3, 2, 1. Try to lift that foot high as you can. 3, 2, 1, and good. Focus on your breath. Again, same thing. Foot goes up. Ready, set, go. 3, 2, 1. One more time. Ready, set. Try to lift that foot or that leg and go. Keep the knee down though. 3, 2, 1, and down. Back leg. If you need to take a breather, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to keep going. Get yourself in that same 90-90 position. If you need to reset a little bit, you can kick yourself to the side if you need to. You should not feel pinchiness in here. If you do, it's because you're all bunched up in your pelvis, lower back. So just kick over to the side. This knee goes down. We're going to try and lift that foot. Ready, set, go. Flex the foot if you need to. 3, 2, 1, down. Again, we got 2 more times. Ready, set, go. 3, 2, 1, down. One more time. Get ready, set, go. 3, 2, 1, and good. Something you can practice, and I'm not doing a very good job, is parachuting your foot down. So as you lift and you go up, boom, you're going to try to imagine you're trying to parachute the foot down as slowly as you can. That's going to keep tissue loaded. So it's not like you're just going, okay, I'm holding, this is hard, slap it down. You're trying to keep it loaded the whole way through. So you can get more bang for your buck out of it. All right, moving on. So what I'm going to have you do next is we're going to lift this front knee off the ground and bring the foot touching the other thigh. Good. And then you're going to lift this till they're touching. So now you're stacking your feet. If you can do this without your hands, feel free. But we're going to meet in a kneeling position like this. And then we're just going to walk back to all fours. So we're going to do some very, very tough abductor hip work and hip extension work. So if you have a habit of doing kickbacks at the gym or any exercise where you're doing this or this and you automatically rock your spine, I want you to actually sit back so that your spine is flexed. Get in that position and hold it. But we're going to start with our left leg out to the side. So if you feel like you're going to lift your leg and your whole body's going to move, I want you to sit back a little bit further. But if you have good body control, you don't have to sit as far back, but I want you to just get that foot out to the side straight and make sure that your foot is pointing forward and that your inner thigh is facing the ground, not like this. So if you need to round your back here, feel free. But what we're gonna do are some lift off or hovers. So I'm gonna have you lift the leg off the ground and hold it. It's just a lift off actually, we're not really hovering, but you're gonna lift the leg off for a 5 count and then parachute it down. So get ready, I'll show you what that looks like. Brace your core, take that breath in, lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, parachute, slow. Okay, now notice I rocked forward a little bit. That's fine as long as you're not rocking side to side this way through your hips. But get ready, get in this position. Sit back if you need to, flex that foot, create some body tension, make fists push into the ground. We're gonna lift in 3, 2, 1, and up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down slow. Right back up, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down slow. 2 more, ready, set, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down slow. Last one, try not to rock, get your core tight, ready, set, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax for a sec. You should feel this. That's your glute or your butt stuff. And we're gonna go leg straight back. We're gonna do hip extension. So this is like a fire hydrant, or I'm sorry, this is like a donkey kick. We're gonna go straight up in the air. Now, if you have really, if you struggle with this, sit further back, make it harder to move. If you're really good at this, you can come forward, but I recommend sitting further back, limiting the amount of movement you can create in your spine and trying to make this very central to your hip. So what you're gonna do is pick the leg up with a straight leg, so lock it out, hold till you feel this, which is your glute, for 3, 2, 1, and slowly bring it down. We're gonna do that again 4 more times. Ready, set. This is a straight leg donkey kick, basically. Ready, go. Up, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down slow. Imagine the air is heavy and you're trying to push against it. You're not just lifting and holding like this is a lackadaisical thing. Make it hard. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down slow. 2 more. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and good. Keep that foot pointed down. 1 more. Ready, set, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. We're going the other side. Oh man. Here we go. Might be time for a beard trim and a haircut. I don't know. I'm gonna blame my sweatiness on that, I think. So, same thing on this side. If you feel like you lift that hip and everything lifts, you can see my back and my spine are rounding or twisting. Don't go too far forward. Sit back more so you're more locked in. It's going to be harder, trust me, if you do it this way. You'll just move this. That's the goal. So sitting back, pointing that toe, keeping the inner thigh pointed toward the ground. We got 5 reps. Ready, set, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down slow. Let's keep moving. Ready, set, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Parachute it down. 3 more. Up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down slow. 2 more. Here we go. Ready, set, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down slow. 1 more. Last one. Flex that foot. Keep that inner thigh facing the ground. Ready, set, up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and down. All right. hip extension. Foot goes back, trying to just flex the glute, all the tissue back here. You might feel your hamstring too. So if your whole leg locks up a little bit, that's okay. But we're going, so flex back if you need to. Try to keep your elbows under you. Keep that foot engaged, lock the leg, and lift for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Again, up, hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down slow. I'm going to make the angle a little bit harder for myself because I can really lift high on this side. Ready? Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down slow. 2 more. Here we go. Ready, set, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down slow. Last one. Lock your spine in place. Try not to arch. Last one. Up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow. Relax. Okay. Take a breather. I'm going to come this way. Check in. How are you all feeling? Somehow my AirPods didn't die. Whew. All right. So I actually did it in a decent amount of time once I stopped talking. We're going to finish by going through a hip car on each side. So we're going to just go through, and then I'm going to unmute you and let you talk so I can maybe get some feedback, and then you can tell me what you thought. But for now, we're just going to go through a really quick hip car and see how it feels after going in and actually working the tissue in your hips. So meet me standing up. If you need support, I recommend using it. I'm not going to use the plant. It doesn't matter what side you're on, nice and slow. We're just going to lift that knee up, in toward the center. Foot goes out, hip goes out, foot stays high, rotate, kick, down. Trying not to arch through too much through here. Notice how I did that a little bit. Do your best. Kick, knee goes out slightly, hurdle, up, in, down. It's a lot easier for me right now than it was when I started. It is a lot looser. Ready? Other side. So you're going to go up and in. Foot goes up toward the ceiling. Out to the side. Rotates through here. Kick, hurdle, hurdle, hurdle. Keep hurdling until you're down to your side. Lock this in. Kick back. Hurdle back. Foot comes up towards the middle and down. Good. Hopefully you feel decent. And very quickly, if you have to go, I would appreciate you messaging me and just letting me know how you thought it went, or if you have any feedback.